Hi everyone, welcome back to Stamp with Anna, and today I'm going to make a variation of this card here. I made this one a few months ago as a customer thank you card to one of my customers who ordered some Fleur de Flamingo cardstock. And as you know, I try to make my customers thank you cards very specific to their order and use one or more of the items that they have ordered if I have it. So like I said, this customer ordered Fleur de Flamingo cardstock, and I used the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set here, and I embossed it with clear embossing powder, so it's very monochromatic. I'm going to make a little change to that this time, and my customer ordered Petal Pink, which is obviously a much lighter cardstock. So I'm going to emboss it in white instead of clear because it just won't show up as nicely because it's such a subtle color. And another difference, I'm using a different stamp set, but another difference is this card here, the front piece is 3 3/4 by 5 as opposed to this one, which was a little larger. So I'm going to use the stamp set Dressed to Impress, and I'm going to use these two pretty flowers here, and I'm going to use this Happy Mother's Day. I know Mother's Day just passed, but she doesn't have to use it as a Mother's Day card. She can certainly just put it in her stash as a sample card, and then when she needs it, she can copy it with a different sentiment, or she can save it till next year and she can have a Mother's Day card all set. First thing I'm going to do is bring in my Pierce mat because my stamps are photopolymer, and using a stamp mat will give me a cleaner, crisper image, even though I'm going to emboss it. And I have a piece of paper on the bottom, so I'm going to come in with my Versamark ink pad. And just a tip, Versamark ink pads, they also dry out, need to be re-inked, just like a regular stamp pad. So you do want to keep an eye on that. When you start to see your images and coming out as nicely as you'd like, you probably need to re-ink your Versamark. So I just went over my paper with the Emboss Buddy, and right down here on this right bottom corner, I am going to stamp Happy Mother's Day. Straight down and straight up. And now that's all I'm going to stamp for now, because I want to make sure that I see where that is while I'm doing my other embossing, so I don't get too close to it. Because it is a small sentiment, and I want it to stand out nicely. So I'm not going to put too many flowers all around it. So with my warmed up heat tool, I'm just going to melt that. And this original card, like I said, is monotone, and I did it with monochrome, and I did it with clear embossing powder, and it's bright, so it comes out and it stands up nicely. But this one here, this paper is so subtle and so soft that I thought it needed a bit more of a pop. And I thought that if I used clear powder on it, I wouldn't get the same effect, the effect that I was looking for. So there it is. It stands up really nice. See how nice that is? And so I'm going to put that aside. Now I'm going to bring in these two stamps. One is a large stamp, a large flower, and one has two little flowers. And I'm just going to randomly go back and forth with these flowers. Now, when I emboss and I'm trying to cover the whole thing, I like to start in the middle and work my way out. Otherwise, if I start on the sides and work my way in, especially with a stamp that's larger than this, I might find that I end up with a big hole in the middle, nice and blank, and my stamp won't fit in there. So that's why I always start in the middle of my project. And as I come down with my roses, I'm going to just turn my flower around, because I don't want it to be I don't want them all going in the same direction, and I don't want it to look unrealistic. And so this one's going to go off the paper a little bit, and I'm going to put one up here and another one in this corner off the paper, and another one here. Now I'm going to come in with my little one And I'm just going to fill in so that I get a little bit of a different pattern. I don't want all the same flowers. And I want, my goal on this one is to have the flowers kind of be spread out. I don't want a busy floral. I'm gonna put one, I think, right about here. No, that might be too close. I'm just gonna put it up here. And the good thing with that they're photopolymer, I can see exactly where I'm going. Now I might have wanted another one in there, but I can't fit a stamp in there, so I'm going to embellish that with a jewel. Can always fix everything with a jewel. So now I'm going to come in, or maybe I might put a pearl this time. And I'm going to sprinkle my white embossing powder all over everything. And I have to be careful not to touch the ink. I missed that one right there. Not to hold the card where there is embossing powder, because then I'll wipe it away. So that looks like I have good coverage. Put that back in there and close it up. Don't want any accidents. I've been there, done that. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to hold it by this corner here. And I'm just going to heat up all of these flowers so that there's a bright, nice bright white. And I'm going to do this off camera so that you don't have to sit and watch my embossing powder melt. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with my finished embossed card, and I really like the way that looks. So what I've done is I put some dimensionals in the corner because I do want it to be, oops, this one came off. I do want it to be raised from my card just to give it a little more interest. And it's nice and raised. And now I have this ribbon. It's a variegated ribbon, and it has white on the in the middle, and then petal pink on the outside. And I thought that the white embossing powder would pick up that nice white on the ribbon. I probably should have tied this on before I attached it. But because it's raised, it's just going to pop right out the other side. So now I'm going to bring this in. And I'm going to bring it as close to my Happy Mother's Day sentiment as I can, because I want to get these flowers up here. I don't want that to be hidden. And my dimensionals are right in the corner there. Okay, so I'm going to bring this over. And I need some more because I need to make a bow. Scooch a little more out of that. Let's turn it around so that the darker part of the petal pink shows. And try that again. So like I said, I'm going to drop this down as close to that Happy Mother's Day as I can. And I have this empty space here, so I'm going to make sure that my bow ends up in that space. Okay. Just give this a twirl so that I can get the right side of the variegation on the top. I do want the dark part to be there. And it's just a sweet, sweet little bow. Just gonna fuss with it a little more because I want to make sure I have the right sides sticking out. Okay, now I'm happy with that bow. It's nice and puffy. And I'm just going to trim the ends of it. I'm just going to adjust it where I want it to be so I can see my sentiment. There it is. Now on this one here, I embellished with rhinestones, and I thought that's what I was going to do with this one, but as I'm looking at it, I think I'm going to do pearls to give it more of a soft look. So I'm going to bring in my basic jewel pearls, and I'm going to fill in wherever I think I have a too large of a hole from my from not having my floral image there. So I'm going to do 1, 2. I like to do things in odd numbers, so I'm going to aim for 3, and if I don't think 3 is enough, I might add some other ones in there. So there's 1, 2. I'm going to put 1. I don't want it to look too planned, so I'm going to put this here. I'm going to move this one over just a tad so it's over there. Now my the pearls come in a package with a couple different sizes, so I'm going to pull in some of the tiny ones and scatter those here and there too, and that'll fill that in nicely as well. Put one right there, and I think that's it. Well, I'm glad this worked out nicely. Usually when I make a card live, I have no idea how it's going to end up. So here is the original, nice and bright, monochromatic, clear embossing powder on the Flirty Flamingo. And it does stand up nicely because it is such a bright color. And here is another take on it with a more subtle color, petal pink, and I embossed in white so that it would stand up nicely. And I added a ribbon on this one. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and you can do a search for this one. It's on my YouTube channel as well. If you have any questions at all about this project or any of the products I used, certainly contact me through my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. And if you do not have a demonstrator with whom you work, certainly let me know, and I'll be glad to pop a catalog in the mail to you. We have a brand new catalog that just went live next week. And while you're here, if you did enjoy this video, I'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up, and if you'd subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and I'll be back here later with another project.